All right, this is the ensuite flat 32. So the first thing to say is the smell when you come in. It's not damp, it's the drains. It doesn't smell of damp, it smells of the drains. When that patch was on, i.e. that's in there, that tiny bit of patch is not making a room smell damp. But as Colin has said, if this flat's not been used for a long time, two things: the traps dry out. The trap there will dry out. The trap there will dry out. So if you fill this like that, it will fill up the trap. And if the heating's been put on, this has got underfloor heating, it can dry out the trap of the shower. And that's the smell. And the other thing is the passive vent. So this here is a centralized system. There's a passive vent, one central unit in the flat, and it's off. You know, passive vent means it's on all the time, so it will got rid of the smell. So there's two things there, but there is a challenge here. Now, we've had this whole ceiling down. That looks worse than it is. There is evidence of it coming down the edge here of the board. And that thing up there, that bit of polyfilm, which is the vapor control layer, that has condensation on it now. You can see it on the edge there dripping. Just focus that in. That could be the sort it's right in the way. That could be the source of the damp. Now, to fix that is actually more of a job than it seems, because the vapor control layer stops warm air coming up from the bathroom, coming up through the plaster, and going on to the cold elements up the top, which would be the vapor control area. And so we could lag round here. So we could just actually put some lagging in here. But the wood up the back is damp, but it's got polythene on there that's got visible signs of condensation. So we've got to decide what to do. But ripping the whole ceiling down, if it was a leak, it would be much, much bigger, because we've seen this room with a leak and it's like ceiling falling down. The original thing, when we changed the original galvanized steel uninsulated rainwater hoppers, we changed them for a PVC, which had PVC with a polystyrene insulation wall to try and stop this. But I can see right now the vapor control layer, which is the polythene, has not been very well installed. So it's allowing some hot air up, that's causing condensation to form, and it's running back down. That's probably it. And the smell is the drains, because the U-bends, the traps, have been allowed to dry. I think we need to try that first. So maybe lag that, put some lagging up there, put some, repaint it, put some damp proof, repaint it, and just see if it stops. Because ripping down the whole ceiling, and that might be the next step if we want to try and reinstall the VCL, the vapor control layer, and all that stuff. But that's the fault right now. We'll put this bit of plaster back in, but that's it. That's not wet. I mean, it's got water penetration, absolutely, but that's more a sign of it's not like a flood. It's a slow drip, which has been allowed to dry out. So we could see what happens during the winter when the condensation would be worse. And also, if somebody was living in this flat, the flat would be warmer and more air would go up. And actually, with this off, more hot air will go up anyway. So that's the prognosis anyway for now, to be discussed.